Welcome back to Lovin Sheila, the podcast. Thank you for joining me for episode 9. We are here, and this has been just such a wonderful experience, a wonderful ride. I want to thank you all for the comments. Again, they are giving me life. They are so encouraging to my soul. It kind of explains to me what courage is all about. Courage to be vulnerable, to share, to be honest, and let everyone know the process, and the process is just not for me. The process is because we all have these same experiences. It's just like, but if we don't share them, if we don't enlighten one another, if we don't give each other the tools, then we're all going to go about like like we are on an island and with no support. And the biggest thing about Lovin Sheila, the podcast, is it's here for your support. And we have to take care of ourselves. We have to love ourselves. And so that's why we are here at Lovin Sheila. And I don't think in the last episode I discussed with you my trip to Chicago. I think I told you previously I was going and what I intended to do, but we did just that. We went to the Art Institute, and I learned a little bit about my art preferences. I learned that I'm more of an abstract art lover, though I also found, and my son pointed out to me, that I like to get into the maternal aspects of art. Like I always am drawn to mothers and their babies and the nursing. And I think because I'm really drawn to that life-giving part of me, probably it's a lot of who I am. So that's why I love to see it, because it's just very, it's very nurturing. Exactly. It's nurturing, and I need to be nurtured. So I'm drawn to that. But we saw a lot of different aspects of art, a lot of Renoir, and I think I took some pictures of it. A lot of pastels. I noticed. I'm no art history enthusiast, but I was trying to learn and trying to expose myself to a few more things. So hopefully I have some photos I'll share with you that I took. But overall, it was a good experience. I got to go to the Beam in Chicago, walk the streets. The weather is not LA. It was definitely dreary outside, but went along the river walk and, just took in the city. It's a beautiful city. So kudos to Chicago. And the reason I go to Chicago is because my son went to college there in Chicago. And this was his first year. And, it's his first year of college. It's also a first year for me because it's our first year of having this distance. And I will be very frank with you. I encouraged his, going away to college. I wanted him to do it. I knew it would be great for him, a good experience. Was it difficult for me internally? Yes, it was, absolutely. I just wanted, before he left, I just wanted to touch him. He would be sleeping, and I'd go and I'd just reach out and touch him, because I was like, in a couple of weeks, I won't be able to touch you. And it was hard, when I left him in Chicago for the first time. I recall I literally crying in the car and looking over at the freeway. There's like a grassy area on the freeway. Oftentimes in LA, it'll be a lot of homeless encampments there. And in my mind, I was like, just drop me off right there. I mean, this is really what I was thinking. It was kind of weird. Just drop me off right there. I'm thinking, I'm no good. And how am I going to make it? How am I going to make it? And I remember listening to that song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, by Diana Ross. And I'm not a Diana Ross fan, but I was listening to that song because it ministered to me. And it was like, no wind, no rain, no winter storm can stop me, baby. If you're my, whatever, the words. But anyway, basically saying nothing can stop me. And it really resonated because they said no winter cold or whatever. And I was thinking Chicago's going to get pretty cold in the winter, but nothing's going to stop me. I'll equip myself. This LA girl will equip herself and she will go. And I did. I actually went in February, and it was kind of awesome. It was weird because it was great weather. It was not freezing. I didn't have to wear gloves. It was really pleasant. What a blessing. I think that was just a blessing from God. And I'm telling you all this is because one of my friends, before my son left, she had given me a card and encouraged me. And she said, and it said something, believe in your strength. I do. Something to that effect. And it really encouraged my soul because I really didn't think I was going to make it. I really envisioned myself being laid out somewhere. No earthly good. But the good thing is, in 2 weeks, he will have finished his first year, and we made it. And not only did we make it, I don't think throve is a word, but we actually thrived, both of us. And because this is about Lovin Sheila, I'll just talk about me. It allowed me time to look at myself and to see some things that may have been, that I may have consumed myself with my child, that maybe I didn't focus on me, not just because of him, just because of the way I chose to live. But not having him here to devote my every thought to obsess over his well-being and so forth really gave me time to look at myself and to see me. And to even see in that card that she gave me, and I'll share it with you because I have it handy somewhere, to believe in my strength. Because you never know what you're capable of until you have to endure. You never know. I mean, if I never had to experience this, I'd never know that we could make it, that our bond is stronger than thousands of miles. And so the message, I guess, that I'm saying is, though we may go through different things, some pleasant, some unpleasant, and this actually was pleasant because he was going somewhere to further his life and to make his life better, but it had emotions attached to it, that there was going to be a separation that we never had before. But in the process, I got stronger. I'm certain he got stronger. And our relationship, has thrived even across the miles and even gotten better. So not to go, this is not about, this is about the strength that we can tap into when we are challenged to do so. If we're never challenged, we never have to tap into it. So every challenge that comes before us, let's just make sure that we approach it head on, grab the bull by the horns, and let's just deal with it. So it may not, again, going away to college is not a bad thing. It's not super challenging. But, for a mother who's very attached to her child, it's a challenge. What do you do with your time? Whatever, you get to see yourself more. And so that's what it did for me. And in the process, here, Lovin Sheila, the podcast was birthed. Not just because of that, but because there's a whole new journey that has happened during this time. And so it's really just fascinating to see. And so it goes back with our last episode. Who are you? So I said that a lot of me was defined in my roles as being a mother, daughter, sister, wife, all these different things. And they are very much a part of me. The nurturing part of me, the encouraging part of me, they're all a part of me. And so after the episode, I was like, okay, that's a lot of information. Now you have to do the work to determine who you are. And it's not going to happen in a week, but it's through constant revelation, constant insight. Like I said, I'm looking for inspiration. So this inspiration is going to help me to see who I am, what's at the heart of me. I went and I bought myself flowers, and I'm sure others would buy me flowers or whatever, but I wanted to buy myself flowers, and they're a few days old now, so they're getting a little, withered or whatever. But I want to see that life around me. I need to see life. And so that's what I am, Lovin Sheila and taking care of yourself. That's what I'm hoping to give. Just like your comments, I would say they give me life. This life around me gives me life. Seeing my son thrive gives me life. It gives me additional purpose. It helps me to know that I've done some of the right things, you know, that I've had value in not only my life but others. So that's what this experience over the last year, um, going to see my son in the Shy has told me. It's revealed a lot of different things, and I can't even articulate to you how much, but it definitely made me dig down deep into the heart of my life and figure some things out and start to excavate, like I mentioned to you previously. And in my self-care, I also talked to you about possibly meditating. And I started in this last week working on some daily meditations, and they're not very long. About 5 minutes is what I do. And I know I made a joke about feeling your breath. And so I literally am trying to feel my breath and feel my body as it touches this chair or whatever it is, and just be mindful of everything. And so that's what the meditation is. I'm speaking, that's what it is. It's just a mindfulness of every aspect of our life. And so I'm actually kind of enjoying it, and I'm actually finding the time where I'm not racing, my mind is not racing, not thinking of what I could do, but actually trying to find peace in that and drawing myself back in with some words and some affirmations of my own. I was listening to Dr. Cloud. He does these one things, and I listen to them every morning. And today's was chill. And it said, how do you know if you're stressed? Well, if you have a pulse, you're probably stressed. But we have to physiologically challenge our body to get out of that stressful state and just chill and kind of discipline ourselves to know what it feels like not to be upset, not to be, he even said, amped up. And I use that because I felt like, I said previously, I was built that way. I was built to be uptight, amped up, and so forth. And so it kind of reset my mind to say, okay, we don't have to be amped up. We can relax. We can let it go. And let's just see what it feels like. Not to have 10 million things racing through your mind. And it really, and I only did it for a short period, about 5 minutes, but it actually felt good. And so I encourage you. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could meditate. I didn't think I could find that peace, that quiet. But if we do it in short increments, I think we can do it. Well, you know, we got to take care of ourselves. And mentally, the racing mind for me, it may not be killing me, but it's killing me. You know, I was talking to my therapist, and we talked about stress because I was sharing with her what happened with the hair doctor. And we talked about my stress level, and we were just trying to understand it. And she said, I think a lot of yours is internal conflict. And I said, I have to agree. Because externally, life's good. Life is great. I mean, you know, we have no needs. Our needs are met. God has been good to us. Externally, yeah, but internally, the struggle of having the things I want or having the people I want in my life, that's where the stress comes from. And so I'm just saying this to you as a form of awareness, just to be aware of what our needs are, of where our stressors are coming from. Because for me, if it's internal conflict, it's not something I can get away from. I mean, it's not like I don't know, something that's happening outside and I can just come inside and get shelter. It's within. And so the things that I need to do start from within. And so that's what leads me. I think this episode will be, it's all about me. And it doesn't necessarily sound good. And I want to preface it by saying, obviously God is the forefront. It's all about him. Okay? And secondary to that, I'm going to take the approach, it's about me. Because as Bishop Jones would say, you know, I, or self, is the substratum to all relationships. So in order for me to have good relationships, then I have to be well, and I have to be whole, and I have to know who I am, and I have to set boundaries, and I have to put up those fences, and I need to clearly define myself, and I need to align my heart and my mind, or pardon me, my soul, and I need to protect my peace, and understand that my mental health matters, as I just used a bunch of the titles of our episodes. But those are all true. These are all the holistic parts of loving ourselves. And that's what we're focused on. So knowing that I am the substratum of all my relationships, I'm saying it's all about me. So what am I going to do for Sheila? How am I going to take care of myself? And how am I going to love me? So, as I say, it's all about me. I say that because no one but me has the power to make me feel good. Yes, I will say that I can enjoy myself amongst friends and family, smile. But for me, if I'm experiencing internal conflict or some type of stressors, it's upon me to deal with those things to find a happy place. So no one but me can make me happy. And so I have to understand that, because once you understand that, you're not looking for people, things, places to make you happy. You know, and as I started the Lovin Sheila journey, as I started to really focus more on me, and I shared with you, I just wanted to get away. And I often struggle with the fact, do I want to get away or do I want to run away? And I actually shared that with my therapist. Do I want to get away, just enjoy myself, or do I just want to run away from all my problems and my life and all the things that I'm responsible for? And if I'm being honest, if I am being completely honest, I would say that I wanted to run away. But being the adult that I am, I realize I cannot run away, you know, because no matter where I go, Sheila is always present. And the same issues that I have here in Southern California will be the same issues I have in London or France. So the best thing that I can do for me is to address whatever those issues are. And I say that because I'm confident that that's not unique to me. It's the same for all of you. We can't run away. There's no escape. I think people drink alcohol and use drugs sometimes because they're looking for the escape. But once the high wears off, you're right back where you are, dealing with the same situations. So likewise, I could have run away for a couple weeks to, you know, London, France, Italy, Spain, all places I do intend to travel to. But I want to do it in the right frame of mind, meaning this is not an escape. This is just an enhancement to my life, an experience. an experience that I can take myself to, that I'm not trying to escape myself or my life, but I'm just using it to further enhance and be an additional attribute to my life. So I guess what I'm saying, it starts with you. There's no running away, okay? We're going to put our feet down. Like I said, we're going to grab the bull by the horn, and we're going to deal with whatever it is for what it is. It's, someone said to me, and it offended me. I was talking about a situation or a problem I was having, and she said, "It is what it is," and I was offended. And I've said that term before, but I felt that it was very insensitive at the time, and it just bothered me, and it made me shut down. Because though it is what it is, because we are empowered, we have the ability to affect whatever it is. And sometimes we might do it through communication, just talking through it, therapy, or just having someone, a safe place to voice our thoughts. And so maybe that's why it bothered me so. And it shouldn't have, because it didn't have to, but it did. So I felt like it was a bit dismissive, and it didn't sit well with me, and I kind of shut down. And I realized after talking with my therapist that this is a growth area for me, because that's a place where I could have clearly communicated that this is something that I want to discuss with you. Maybe I'm having a hard time with it. I just want to bounce some things off of you, because I know that I can work through this if you give me, an ear. Or whatever, I don't know. Whatever I might have said, I haven't done it yet, so I can't tell you what the best way to do it was. But I know what I did wasn't right, or the best way to handle it, trying to be a more evolved person. And so she and I, therapist and I, talked about it, and we just thought it could be a place where we could work on communication. Because nobody wants to feel dismissed, and we all want a safe place to be heard. And that's what I think we all want to be heard. And so starting with me, if I want to be heard, okay, no one can hear you if you're not speaking, right? So I want to be heard, but I'm not communicating. So I'm encouraging myself to communicate, but also if you find yourself in that type of situation, remember, no one's here to read minds, and we have to communicate if we want to be heard. Otherwise, it might just be dismissed. And so that's not what we want. I mean, I know I wanted to be heard in that situation, and oftentimes, I have people call me and I'm thinking, hey, just go watch Lovin Sheila. It's got the answer. But I have to remind myself that they want to be heard. And so, it starts with me. So instead of me directing them to my YouTube channel or Spotify or Apple, I have to listen, because they want to be heard. And if I want to be heard, then I have to be a person who's willing also to listen and also to communicate. So it's constantly an evolving state. It's all about us, but it affects all of our relationships. And I want to say we start with us, because that's how I ensure that I enjoy my life better. Because like we said, no one is responsible for my happiness but me. If I'm not communicating my boundaries, my expectations, or holding people accountable, and if they're making me miserable, but guess what? It started with me. So I'm owning this area, as Dr. Cloud would say, my garden, my house, and everything, making sure it's in proper order. And I do that by communicating my boundaries, communicating what's acceptable, what I need from a friend or a family member. And so it's a constant growth. Though I'm Lovin Sheila and I'm sitting here before you daily, I am being rebuked possibly by my own behavior. But it's a journey, it's a process, and I have to take note of the process and grow from the process and realize how and where I could have handled things differently. Which reminds me, I remember when I first started my job in sales, and my manager, he would ask me, how could you have done that differently? And I was young, so all I could think of is if I knew, I would have done it. That was my response. Like, well, tell me. And I'm not that far removed from that. I think I just have, maybe I am. I think I just have more awareness to know I probably could have handled it differently. I guess so. I guess there has been some growth even before Lovin Sheila. There's just some awareness now. Okay, I probably could have handled that differently if I would have, whatever. Just like I'm looking at this situation, if I just communicated and not shut down, that would have went so much better. So, in sticking with our theme, it's all about me. I say that because we are trying to enjoy our world, more fully, enjoy ourselves more fully, be happier individuals, and even for me, in order to rightly determine if I'm loving Sheila and caring for Sheila, I had to evaluate my reasons for wanting to get away. Because I even spoke to my therapist a little bit about this. I said, I don't know if I want to get away or if I want to run away. Because there's a difference. Running away is thinking I can get away from all my adulting responsibilities and, go run away and be a whole different person and, just escape my life and my responsibilities and the things that I have to do. Whereas getting away is just going and appreciating the time to breathe, to reflect, to enjoy God's creation, to have peaceful times rather than concentrating on the work or the relationships that I'm involved in. It's just me time. So I had to discern, are you running away? Or are you getting away? And frankly, I wanted to run away. There's no doubt in my mind. But after I did some self-reflection, I realized I'm just going to get away. There is no running away from your responsibilities, from your life, from your problems or your bills or whatever the case may be. But you can take some time for you. And so I just had to put it in proper perspective. And I think a lot of these things are reframing how you look at things, because reframing, like re-identifying what we're going to call it, but also repurposing it as well. So the purpose of my getaway was not to run away, to not pretend like things did not exist, and not to escape and pretend like I was another person and nothing back home mattered, but just to refresh and to equip me to move forward freshly with life's challenges and life's beauty and everything that we would find back home. So I just felt like it was a good time to refresh and even to understand that, because everything about loving yourself is kind of connecting with yourself and understanding why you want that or why you do that or what is the reasoning, what is the purpose, all these things. Like I was reading that book, Purpose Driven Life, and I have lost it again. So I'm not being very purposeful according to that. But, just really finding purpose and finding the purpose in everything. So, yeah, we're purposing and we're taking care of ourselves. And it's just like I mentioned to you previously, when you get on the airplane and they're giving you your instructions and they tell you, in the event of trouble, put your oxygen mask on and then take care of the others. Because it starts with us, and we have become so selfless, especially us wives and mothers. We become so selfless that we want to protect everyone and take care of everyone before we take care of ourselves. But we must understand it's all about us, because we cannot do a good job, a sufficient job, without being whole first. So I'm just saying, let's be whole, ladies. Let's take care of ourselves first. Let's give ourselves oxygen first, and then take care of our loved ones. And then everyone can eat. All right? It's like a basketball team. Everybody wants to score. Everyone can eat. But that's how I think we should approach this and look at it. And I know it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. But I don't think anything happens in our comfort zone. I know for me, nothing has really happened in my comfort zone. It was always when I went out of my comfort area that things prospered. And for instance, I like, no one works out and says, yeah, I'm going to keep on lifting these 5 pound weights and forever I'll just lift these 5 pound weights. We anticipate that we will get stronger and we'll get to 10, 15, 20, whatever, 25. Eventually we will grow, we will get stronger, or we'll get faster, or we'll get more endurance. That's the purpose, of our workout. It's never just, I never want to, I don't want to run a race and run at the same time I ran it last time. I actually want to improve, and I want to get faster. And so we have to get out of our comfort zone. And the way we do that is, we do things that are uncomfortable. I have set up a life for me that's very comfortable. I have everything that I need and want, and it's very comfortable. But has it allowed me to thrive, or have I been comfortable? And it's being comfortable enough. And I would submit to you that being comfortable is not enough. I want to thrive. I want to excel. I want to exceed my expectations. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So we want to push ourselves. And that's why we take care of ourselves. And even when I go on my hikes, I challenge myself to, be faster, be stronger. And sometimes I'll double dip. I'll do it more than once just because I feel like I need to push myself more. And that's what we have to do. We have to find a way to get out of our comfort zone and push ourselves. And it's okay. We want to learn to be alone with ourselves and be happy because, as I mentioned previously, we are the substratum to all our relationships. So if we can't be with ourselves, we can't run away. We have to get away or whatever, but we can't run away. We have to be with ourselves. And I even find on the mountain, there was a time of maybe a few months ago when I was going through some things, and I would go on the mountain and do my hike, and I did not want to be alone with myself. Because on that mountain, normally there's a lot of thoughts that I go through, a lot of thinking, a lot of processes, a lot of planning, a lot of strategy, a lot of, listening to different pastors and worship that goes on. A lot of stuff goes up on that mountain, a lot of thinking. But I found that I didn't really want to be alone with myself. Now that's what goes on when I'm alone with myself. But what I was finding is I don't want to be alone with myself. So what I would do is I would hope that someone would call me, and I would try and talk to them throughout my hike. And that was because I didn't want to be alone with myself or my thoughts, or I didn't want to hear anything that was going to strike an emotion in me, and which the word often does. So I was trying to run away. And I still wanted to do what I was doing, which was my workout, but I did not want to have the mental, the psychological, the emotional presence alone with myself. And so I was trying to escape it. But my point is, it's all about me. So I need to be able to be alone with myself. And whatever the thoughts are that come, then I need to be able to handle them. And that's what I'm working on. And more recently, I have been able to be alone with myself on the mountain and have the thoughts and come up with different plans on how I was going to deal with different things. And so I had to get through whatever pain I was feeling and stop masking it by conversation and laughing and talking, and deal with me. I can't have any relationships if I'm not right. I can't have any relationships of any depth if I'm not right. And so that's what I encourage us all to do. We have to be able to be alone with ourselves. It's all about us. Whatever feelings we have, we can't run, we can't sweep them under the rug. We have to deal with it, grab the bull by the horns, and address it. That's the only way, I think, to live a happy, meaningful, purposeful life. Kind of moving along. So I want to talk a little bit about regrets. I've had a few, and I am learning to reframe that. Regrets to necessary parts of my journey. They're things that I guess I wish didn't happen, but I recognize that they are necessary parts of my journey. I'm just going to repeat that, okay? And they are. They have brought me to this discovery mode where I'm loving Sheila, and I'm re-loving Sheila. And if I didn't have those experiences or those so-called regrets, I might not be here talking to you right now. I would not be here talking to you right now. I'm going to call that necessary parts of my journey that empowered me, that made me more empowered. So the not so pretty elements of my life, it's a process that can be daunting or painful, but it's a necessary ending. And Dr. Cloud wrote a book entitled Necessary Endings, so maybe check that out. And so some things are necessary, and some endings have to happen, and they bring us here. The point of moving in the right direction, showing us that we should not be fearful, but we're excavating and trying to get all these things that are not perfect out of our life. And we're being empowered in the process. We're allowing ourselves to be alone with ourselves. And it is powerful, and it is necessary. And it'll show us if we're going to go for it or if we're going to run from it. And I believe that we're going to go for it. It's going to show us what we're made of. And it's going to show us that we're here for it, that we're here for the work. And it allows our experiences to show us, yes, our experiences are going to show us the strength that's in us. If my son had not gone away to college in a city that was far away and we knew no one there, I would never know that I was capable of having a distance, of having my life defined by more than just being a mommy, because I was totally immersed in it and obsessed with it. So it took me out of my comfort zone, and that's where Lovin Sheila was birthed, where I began to re-love Sheila and to sit here and to look at my issues and say, hey, I want to do something about it, and I have time to do just that. And every day, of course, along the journey will not be skip to my loo, will not be easing on down the road and dancing through like Michael and Diana did. It's gonna have some days that are gonna be painful, depressing, but we will find that we overcome. And like one of my favorite verses, beloved, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. And that's what I hope for us here, that we would prosper, that we would do well along the way, that we would be in health, that we take care of ourselves holistically, and that even our soul would prosper, our mind, our will, and emotions would be in a place where we are loving ourselves and that we are putting ourselves at the forefront, because it starts there. It absolutely starts there. We have to take care of ourselves. So it's all about me, I'll say it again. And you have to accept that there will be some ups and there will be some downs, highs and lows. But it's all a part of our story, and it's okay. It's our story. It's ours to write. It's ours to create. It's ours to live. And no one can tell our story or make our story for us. It's ours. No one can do it for me. No one can do it for you. That's what brought Lovin Sheila, the podcast, to life, because I wanted to tell my story, and I wanted to not be passive about it, and I wanted to assert myself and make sure that the story read the way I wanted it to, and the story was fleshed out the way I want it to be, that I am empowered, that I'm in control of my life. And it starts with me, what I allow, what I set up my boundaries for, what I allow to come into my yard, my garden, my house, how I set it up. This is my story. It starts with me, and that's what I want us to know. You know, starting with us, it allows us to hold others accountable, reinforces our boundaries, and it gives us a more full and complete life. So folks, you know, we can't start with changing everyone else, but we can change how we respond to them. We can change the emphasis in our life. We can refocus and reframe to make sure that we are a consideration in our own life. It cannot be manipulated or duplicated by anyone else. It is our story. And so we're going to be alone with ourselves. We're going to take the time with ourselves. We're going to get to know ourselves, and we're going to be comfortable with ourselves. And that doesn't mean being in a comfort zone, but we're just going to be comfortable with ourselves, and we're going to love ourselves and get to the next level. And that's our journey, okay? I think I'll just stop right there. I could go on and on forever. You get the message. It's all about you. It starts with you. It starts with me. And thank you for joining me today on Lovin Sheila, the podcast. Look forward to seeing you again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I look forward to hearing from you. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to engage with you. All right? So send me your comments, send me your text, do whatever you have to do. Love you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Lovin Sheila, the podcast.